Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome back to the randomized F1 Manager Grid streams. First time it's happened not on a Saturday. It is Wednesday, and, well, basically this is my way of getting around a couple of issues. So, number one issue is I wasn't able to stream Saturday just gone because it was my birthday on Monday. So, we were out with family for that. And I'm not able to stream this Saturday as I'm taking my mum out for her birthday. So, yeah, lots of birthday stuff around January for me. So, yeah, thought I'd just put this one in the middle. And as a result, I've also not been able to record as many videos as I would like. I wasn't able to get ahead enough. So it kind of solves two problems. So we might even do this again next Wednesday. It might become a more regular thing. Of course, there is also a poll in the YouTube community section for you to vote on the next series that we live stream as we come towards the end of the series with, well, the first season at least, with Ferrari in the randomized grid save. Hello to Callum and to CC Andreas in the chat. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. How are you both? Hope you're having a good week. It's been a quiet week in Formula One, hasn't it? Not much been announced, has there? Right, let's get stuck into this save. Well, resume the save. We are preparing for the Singapore Grand Prix, which of course was the only race in 2023 not won by Red Bull. Let's refresh everybody with where we are. Ferrari are leading the Constructors' Championship by 12 points, is that? I think, yeah. 12 points over Red Bull. Mercedes, a distant third, but comfortably clear of Aston Martin. Alpine are actually doing quite well in P5. McLaren are having a rotten time. Visa Cash App, yes, Visa Cash App, Red Bull, whatever. We'll just call it Minardi Grand Prix. That's my solution to it. Or we will discuss the abomination of a team name that AlphaTauri has become. And we'll also discuss the Madrid Grand Prix. And quite honestly, I'm not for it. I'm really not for it. We'll get into that later. But talking of things, Spain, Fernando Alonso leads the Drivers' Championship now. Lewis Hamilton, if I remember, in the last stream, didn't score a point. But also in the last stream, Esteban Ocon threw it off the road on the last lap in Monza. I'm looking at you, Esteban, and I'm still not happy about it. He's won 2 races. He really should have won 4 because he blew it in Spa and he absolutely pooped the bed in Italy. But that did give Alonso win number 7 for the season and a handsome lead in the World Championship. Look at Kevin Magnussen in the top 10. Logan Sargent's in the top 10 as well, guys, in the Aston Martin. 24 points to his name. We should probably do a comparison, actually, with how well he does compared to how well Lance Stroll did in the actual season. Callum, F1 has always been a sponsor show. When I first started watching F1, and I'm kind of going all old man here, back in the 90s, they were literally rolling billboards for cigarette advertising. So you had some classic liveries, obviously the Marlboro McLarens of the 80s and early 90s, obviously Senna and Prost in the late 80s at the wheel. The West livery that McLaren had in the late 90s, Ferrari still sponsored by Marlboro. Jordan, the iconic Benson and Hedges liveries that they had. Williams, of course, with their Rothmans liveries, less so the Winfield one. And who can forget British American Racing, the company that tried to field 2 cars with 2 different liveries because they had 2 cigarette brands. It's always been like this, unfortunately, but it is what it is. But yes, it is. I think they've overstepped the mark with it. We'll get into it in a minute once the racing gets on, but they've certainly overstepped the mark. Yes, I was saying that we should probably compare Logan Sargent to how Lance Stroll actually did in real life. So But maybe we'll keep an eye on that as like a sub-story towards the end of the season. We have won the last 3 races, which is absolutely lovely jubbly. Well, yes, it's not getting much better, is it? The old team names because of Sauber, Kick, Steak, Burger, whatever they want to be called. It doesn't make any sense, but that's Formula One for you. And that's the way that sport is nowadays. Right, let's get some sport going. I should mention there was a regulations vote. It was on the financial regulations. Basically, they asked us if we wanted to reduce the cost cap, and I said no, we're Ferrari, we want actual more money, and objected to reducing the cost cap by like $5 million or something. We need to change the engines, because otherwise we're going to just rack up penalties after penalties after penalties after penalties, and we're going to turn into mid-2010s McLaren with a Honda power unit, which was funny at the time. I mean, if that car had actually worked and had an engine that was decent, you had 2 drivers who could win Grand Prix, not least of which is Fernando Alonso. Jenson Button was pretty handy on his day as well, so he could have done bits, but sadly the car was a dud, the engine was even worse. It's like saying Ineos, Petronas, Mercedes-Benz. Yeah, it just doesn't sound right. It doesn't roll off the tongue. Lewis Hamilton's taking a grid drop. That's good news for 1F Alonso. Right, car parts are getting a bit of a hammering now. The whole team names thing is an interesting one, because you want to entice like manufacturers in, and obviously we're getting Audi, but then they're reluctant to allow GM onto the grid with Cadillac and their association with Andretti. Even Racing Bulls is better. Yeah, I mean, it's not particularly fancy or imaginative, but it does what it says on the tin. And they want to get these manufacturers in, but they're just going about it the entire wrong way. Honestly, like, if Red Bull sold this second team to Andretti, would anyone have a problem? I doubt it. If Andretti bought Haas, which is probably unlikely, would anyone have a problem? No. They wouldn't be missed either. And those teams, okay, the entry would be in a different place, if that makes sense, so the location would probably change, because obviously Haas are based, well, they're based all over the place. They get the chassis built in Italy and at Dallara, they're based in Banbury in the south of England, and they have something in America as well. I don't know what, but don't ask me to work out what Gene Haas is doing with that team, even though he thinks he knows what he's doing, but it's really not working. But yeah, they wouldn't be missed. They're not major players, major brands. You look at like Aston Martin, even when they're not at the front, they're still a talking point because it's Aston Martin, the brand, the name, the history, for whatever reason. But then if you put like Andretti on the grid with Cadillac, it's going to be a talking point one way or the other. They're either going to be doing really well or they're not going to be doing really well. A bit like Jaguar in the early 2000s. Everyone expected Jaguar to be this powerhouse that battled Ferrari, and you get, you know, it'd be Ford versus Ferrari again. It just never materialised. The best they got was 2003, I think, maybe even 2001. Yeah, it just really never hit the heights. Ironically, Jaguar became Red Bull. So let's Singapore Grand Prix qualifying. 11 teams certainly needs to happen. I'm an advocate of 12 teams on the grid. I think that's a really good number. Lewis Hamilton qualifies fastest, but Fernando Alonso will start on pole as a result of Hamilton's penalty. Yuki Tsunoda will be alongside us on the front row. That's interesting. Look at Danny Rick doing bits in a Haas. And Sargent in the top 10. Who else is... Alfa Romeo are having an absolute stinker. The Liverpool match is on now, so you're going to have to go. No, don't, Callum, don't worry. You know, your revision has to come first. That's absolutely fine. And of course, these are always here, like, for you to watch in your own time, so not a problem. Enjoy the Liverpool game. I can't say I hope they win, but I just hope you enjoy the game. I'll leave it at that. But thank you for tuning in now. Anyway, so let's do a Singapore Grand Prix. And we do tend to get a lot of safety cars, well, say safety cars, red flags in Singapore. Let's... we two-stop? I mean, we've got another set of mediums. Let's just do a medium hard then. One stopper. I think with Ocon, we should probably do a two-stopper. There we go. Let's set all of this up. And then let's do a motor race. Alright, 5 red lights. The lights are out. The race is on. Alonso moves immediately to cover Tsunoda, who's extremely left there. And that is Max Verstappen in the red. I was about to say Ferrari, then I almost said Red Bull. He's in a Mercedes, who's trying to get through. That's Ocon moving into P4, which is good stuff. We'll put the ERS battle assist on. What is Esti Besti doing? He's making that move. Oh, he's losing the place to Leclerc. We can have the inside line for turn 6, or is it 6? This one, excuse me. We'll be fine. Lovely job there, Esteban. Hamilton all the way down in 19th.
You're doing well.
Excuse me.
Currently P4.
Alright, Ocon ahead of Leclerc and Alonso in the lead. And I think what we can do, Tsunoda's already almost a second back, so we'll just make sure we open up that 1 second gap, maybe even more, so that when DRS is active, we're all good to go. We'll just drop the deployment for now on both cars. And let's see what happens. Looking at the strategies, a lot of people on mediums. There's a few on softs. Ocon is the lead driver on the softs. So let's get Alonso deploying and Ocon deploying now. So we're going to be probably coming out in a bit of traffic somewhere, which could hurt us. Tsunoda's actually caught us up. That I didn't expect to see, but we are pushing now. So hopefully we can leave him behind in this middle sector. So tell me in the chat which new team name is worse. Visa Cash App RB as Ocon goes into P3. So Visa Cash App or VCARB or Stake F1 Kick Sauber team. Which one is worst? Ocon's tyres are getting very, very warm. And Tsunoda's sticking with it. That's interesting, but now we're gonna have Ocon getting amongst it, and then maybe we let him buy Alonso. Alonso's gonna hate the fact that we use team orders to let Ocon go ahead, but we will switch them round later on, or at least when Ocon's coming through, he will be told to hold position behind Alonso. That's all based on the fact that we can get Ocon into P2, and in fact he is into P2. Look at that, Esteban Ocon. Lovely stuff. The extra grip from the soft tyres working a treat. CC Andreas says Visa Cash app, VCard, whatever they want to be called. Minardi. I mean, it just doesn't work. It's, oh my god, can you imagine how Crofty's going to have to deal with this? It's driving clean air, and then Alonso, don't fight your teammate. Where's he going to let him through? Yeah, Crofty's going to have an absolute nightmare with trying to pronounce whatever that is quickly. You know, it's just terrible, isn't it? I mean, some of the teams that I've seen come in and be at the back of the grid, like Midland F1, Spiker, I mean, they weren't big names, they weren't exciting. I mean, Mana Marussia, obviously Mana Motorsport is well ingrained in the lower formulas. Yes, some of them, HRT, Hispania Racing, they were going to be, well, they were going to be Campos originally, weren't they? But it was just, they weren't particularly imaginative. Right, Alonso, we should probably look after his tyres a little bit more there. Can you do an experiment where all young driver academy drivers go to their respective teams and choose Can you do an experiment where all young driver academy drivers go to their respective teams they choose to race for? So Zach O'Sullivan to Williams, Vesti to Mercedes, Behrman to Ferrari. We could definitely do that. We could do some sort of F2 drivers, F3 drivers in F1 cars series. If that's something people would be interested in, that's something we could definitely do. I'd be quite up for doing it. It's another one to add to the potential live stream list. And tell me your thoughts as well. Would you prefer more live content like this, or do you like the videos? Obviously the experiments are pretty cool as like one-off videos. But within the confines of the editor software that I have, I do feel there's a limited amount of things that I'll be able to do within them. Leclerc has got himself up to P3 here for Red Bull. So yeah, just let me know in the comments here and on the community post whether you'd like to see more live content, or like the player, let's play videos, the journey with Mercedes, what sort of content you would like to see more of. Safety car! What has happened here? And this has worked a treat for Lewis Hamilton. He's going into the pit lane. Who has done this? Oh, it's Max Verstappen. He has crashed at turn 19. The Mercedes is... Oh, he's going to have done a lance stroke. Great camera work here. And... the way that crash happened was just so dumb. The cars coming around the corner, I'm sure they would have smashed into it. Like if it had played on, obviously you'd hope they'd move around a driver stuck in the middle of the track. Right, well I think it's a free pit stop.
Safety car deployed.
Let's put Ocon onto... let's put him on a set of hards. And then we'll put him on a set of mediums to finish. Now we're going to do the same with Alonso. Put him on a set of hards, and then we've got an extra set of softs to use later on. So we'll just convert Alonso to a two-stop strategy. Sainz has had a pit stop issue. We do need to... Well, Alonso's probably going to be just... He might be alright. We're 5 seconds clear of Leclerc. Kind of hoping... Oh, look! Oh, we've got a red flag! Look at this! So they're all wait... Oh, did the red flag already come out? This is weird. The crashes in the game are super weird. So what's going on here? So Sargent is... Or who is this? Bottas. He's stuck behind the safety car. He can't get out. And then Hulkenberg is stuck there. Zhou is stopped in the pit lane.
Red flag, stay put, please.
Oh, this is weird. This is really weird. It's been upgraded to a red flag because basically they couldn't get out of the pit lane, and Piastri still can't get out of the pit lane. How weird. How weird. Gives us a free pit stop though, so we'll just stick the hards on and send it, I suppose. So Ocon is now going to be starting from the front. Look, there's the track. No cars on the track. Okay, I said to you we get a lot of red flags in Singapore. I think that's all of the last 4 races have done in Singapore have had a red flag. Right, what's everyone gone on to? Leclerc is on mediums. That's not ideal. This has worked out a treat for Hamilton. He's on hards. Leclerc is going for the lead on those mediums. Ocon better start defending. We've lost the lead because we don't get to do all of this stuff before we restart. So Leclerc now leads. This red flag might have hurt our chances in this race. So let's get Ocon sorted out. Leclerc will have to stop earlier than we do. That's for certain. As long as Tsunoda backs everybody up, that is lovely jubbly. Pulling away. In fact, well, Alonso's almost a second behind Ocon here. But that's fine. Ocon will go and challenge Leclerc. Our two drivers are now on essentially the same strategy. But later on we might do something with the strategy to get Alonso ahead. Let's put the tyres back onto standard. Esteban Ocon takes the lead. There we go. DRS. Job done. Let's watch it on the replay. Straightforward DRS overtake in Singapore. I mean, that's kind of what you'd like around a street circuit, just for that little bit of excitement and overtaking. I know it is possible into that corner, and we see it go right a lot of times, and we've seen it go wrong plenty of times. I think we're going to see Leclerc go back past here as well. We're driving in clean air, we're not. There's Leclerc back up the inside, so this is going to become a proper scrap, and Alonso is taking a watching brief as well. We've dropped Tsunoda by some 4 seconds already, so this is now a 3-way fight for the lead. Might as well just follow the Red Bull and look after our tyres. Let's get Alonso avoiding the high-risk curbs. Get those tyres under control. Ocon's going, well, they're side by side. We should probably look at it, but they're finished side by siding. I was too busy sorting out tyres. What we can do now is obviously go to the softs later on. We've got fuel to push as well. So I think we are all gravy at the moment. Ricciardo is now the driver closest to the lead pack in his Haas. He's on softs though. So let's monitor Hamilton's progress as well. But as we move forward, Leclerc will be, well, he's looking after his tyres. That's for certain. But it's all fine with us. We'll just sit behind and basically have the stronghold on this. I don't know what he'll go to. What has he already been on? Let's have a look here. Tyre history. Leclerc started. He's gone medium, so he'll probably go softs to the end. Really? Maybe hards. He might. Well, seeing as we're running longer, we can just almost. Well, we're going to softs anyway, but we'll be in a stronger position come what may. Let's get Ocon topping up the battery. What's it looking like on track? He's just sitting there right behind, sniffing his gearbox. And Leclerc is now having to push a little bit more. We have opened up 9 seconds on Ricciardo. I think you need like 28 seconds to make a pit stop here. Let's find the reports. Pre-race report. 27 seconds. I wasn't far off. So 28 seconds, accounting for a slightly slow stop, would bring us out well in the midfield around George Russell, who's in 14th place and ahead of Nico Hülkenberg. And there's Ocon. We'll just get him to keep topping up the battery, and then we've got plenty for when we make our stop. And this race now just kind of hinges on whatever Leclerc does. It's going to become one of those races where if you were watching it, they'd just be following each other around and you're just waiting for the pit stops to happen. And now you can see Leclerc's tyres are taking much more of a beating than ours are. But there is a Lewis Hamilton here going around Yuki Tsunoda for P4. So while we are 9.5 seconds clear of him, well, he's now scrapping away with Tsunoda, who's not making it easy for him. Remember, this is a Hamilton who needs to get himself back into championship contention, because Alonso has really opened up a gap the last couple of races. Ocon, I mean, what do you think we do? Well, I say, what do you think we do with Ocon? We're going to have to get him to give up the position, I'm sure, at some point. But how much of a number 2 do we make him now at the moment? Alonso's dropped off a bit, which I'm not overly worried about right now. I mean, I think Leclerc is putting on a bit of a burst at the moment, so we're going to pick up our pace. Yeah, there you go. Leclerc with a 33.1. We did 34.3 and 34.1. So over a second slower. Alonso is now within range of his teammates. So what I'm going to do is get Esteban to yield the position, and we'll have Fernando go after Leclerc at the front. What lap do we pit on? Let's build a strategy. Strategy view. Soft tyres. Maybe lap 44. Let's do that. So we'll select that with Fernando, and then maybe we'll just run Ocon a bit longer. As Gasly sets a new fastest lap, everyone's starting to pick up their pace. We're having to respond. We were a second quicker than Leclerc with Alonso last time around. And he is closing that gap down. We're almost halfway through this race. In fact, we are halfway through. 31 is exactly half of 62. And Alonso is now right on the case when it comes to taking the lead. And there he is, taking position 1. He's run out of ERS though. Is he going to be able to make it stick into the chicane? I think if you put a DRS zone on that straight, you get probably some really good racing. So some racing out of the hairpin into the right-hander, and then another dose of DRS down to the chicane. I think that would work really well. You probably wouldn't need this one on the pit straight, because how often do you see an overtake into this corner? I mean, we're still running side by side because this game loves running side by side, and we got DRS. I mean, it's just pot luck, isn't it, at that point? So Fernando Alonso leads the race for the first time since he was asked to not lead the race anymore by us. What's Leclerc's tyres looking like? He's having to look after them a little bit more. We'd probably go a bit more aggressive on ours. Ocon has fallen back quite a bit. So we could actually use him as a bit of a blocker against Hamilton. Alonso seems to have Leclerc covered right now. And a virtual safety car. Whose fault is this one?
There's a crash at turn 13.
Danny Rick!
Watch
No,
for
he
them
was
in
having
front.
such a good race. This is at the hairpin and he just decided not to brake. They need to improve the animations for crashing. Netflix are in the Haas garage because, of course, they are. Maybe he did it for the Netflix. Right, well, that's kind of a nuisance to us. What lap are we on?
Clear safe.
Yeah, we are several laps short of
Copy.
pitting. Let's see. I'm guessing Leclerc will go in. But the AI isn't pitting. It's weird. They don't take the free pit stop. Leclerc is now taking the pit stop, just as I say that, and Hamilton. So they'll get a cheaper stop than we will. But we're going to be able to hunt them down later on. What has Leclerc gone to? Set of hards. That's not good for him. Hamilton is on is that a set of mediums. Yes, it is. So we're going to be very, very fast. Anyway, at the end of the race, we're going to be significantly faster than Leclerc because old hards versus new softs. We all know how that story ends. So let's go and push on the tyres. I've asked Alonso to deploy as well. We'll push with the fuel. I think Alonso, I mean, he'll come out around Gasly at the moment. But Leclerc is pushing. We will catch Leclerc very, very easily towards the end of the race, that's for sure. Pit window now entered, but let's get to the pit stop. And then it'll all be about chasing down the Red Bull. Might have to pass Hamilton actually. He's stuck behind Gasly. Right, approaching that pit stop lap. Let's just get to it because that's basically what we need to do. Is we could even call Ocon in this lap. There's enough of a space to do it. He's only got used tyres though. We were going to put him on mediums, weren't we? That's what we were going to do. Okay, the tyres are getting quite warm. So 28 seconds is what you need. We are going to come out quite a way behind Leclerc actually. That is actually a little bit alarming how far behind we're going to be, but those tyres are going to be quite second best. It's a very slow stop. Come on, Ferrari. Deary me, we're going to be so far behind, and a slow stop for both drivers. Just Ferrari things all over the place. Out in P4 and P6. So we'll just go stand, we'll get the tyres up to temperature, then we'll back off on them. We are 15 seconds behind Leclerc. And we've got, what's that, 17 laps to go to catch him. So we've got to be around a second a lap faster. And we've got to pass two cars before we get to Leclerc. Might have overestimated our strategy here, but let's keep an eye on things. Let's get the lap times up. Leclerc and Hamilton are in the 32s. We haven't done a full flying lap yet, but I think Alonso has decided to be a beast. Let's get him driving in clean air. In fact, we don't need to because Tsunoda jumps into the pit lane. A 31-0 for Alonso. At this rate, we will catch them with laps to spare. We also don't want to murder our tyres. So we'll just go standard on them for now. Pit stop issues everywhere. Sonoda having one. So Norris had one, and I think Sargent had one too earlier on. Ocon, I mean, we'll just see what he does, I suppose. So Alonso's going to have to pass his closest championship rival on track, and then he can go for the win. He's currently inside 10 seconds adrift of Leclerc, and 2 seconds faster last time around. But obviously our softs will be wearing out very quickly compared to the hards. So we've got to catch him with tyre to spare as well as laps. We are reeling in Lewis Hamilton. I don't think it will be a difficult pass once we get there. Just over a second now behind the Red Bull. I mean, honestly, what they've called that second team today is just... it's an abomination. It's genuinely the worst team name I've ever heard. And it's a slap in the face to the fans as well, because and the people within the team, because it basically says we don't value this group. We don't want to sell it, but we don't really have much use for it, because I mean, Red Bull can't even manage 2 cars in the same team, let alone 2 other cars in the whole another team. So, I mean, honestly. Right, let's do an overtake, please, Mr. Alonso. Although he didn't quite get it there. We've still got 11 laps to go. Where's Ocon? He is 10 seconds adrift of this pair. Alonso much closer here, driving in clean air. Send it. Send it. And that's the overtake. Right, now we can go and catch Leclerc. What's the lap time difference? Leclerc does a 33 flat. Alonso does a 31.3. So if we keep up that pace, it won't be very long at all. I mean, this is the issue with the DRS on this game, and obviously sometimes in real life, it does kind of take the jeopardy out of things. It's less about can they overtake, it's more of a will they get there in time sort of thing. Another 1.8 seconds quicker. Gap now just 2.5 seconds. We'll save the battery for when we get there. Are we stuck in a bit of traffic here? We've just backed off the pace a little bit. Leclerc's just upped his pace to a 31.5 and gone a 10th quicker that time around. I think he might have had some clear air. Well, clearish. There's a Bottas in front of him. Can we get this McLaren out of the way? Thank you very much. And then we'll go and get the Williams as well. What's Leclerc's tyre situation? Well, they're kind of at the same wear as us, but we're on softs. So we should still have the advantage there. I think it was DRS that Leclerc was getting, which gave him that big boost in lap time. We're now less than 2 seconds adrift. Dropped Hamilton. Ocon just hasn't made an impression since the restart. Just push and deploy with Alonso. I think we've got everything we need now to make the overtake, but the only thing we need to do still is drive in clean air. And this probably won't take very long at all. He's even looking into turn 5. Here we go. Fernando Alonso takes the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix, a race he has won on 2 occasions. But there have been no shenanigans involved in this one.
Oh, beautiful.
There we go. Beautiful indeed.
Good job.
Alonso takes the lead of the Grand Prix. And the plan now is to disappear. We are just almost a second ahead of Leclerc. And if this game was smart, it would issue team orders and put Hamilton in front of Leclerc. But it doesn't. It really should. It really very should. They need to add that. The AI needs to sort of think about the championship picture after a certain point and start issuing team orders within teams, especially for drivers who have championship contention. And we run out of ERS. Not a problem. Make sure we don't run out of fuel. I think we'll just take this one to the end because straightforward in the end, wasn't it? You can throw a red flag, you can throw a VSC, you can give us 15 seconds to make up, but we can still do it. A two-stop on street circuits, if there's any kind of safety car, is just so potent on this game. It's unreal. Like in Monaco, if you get a virtual safety car or a safety car, always box. The two-stop certainly becomes quicker because the AI tend to stay out, and you can just kill them in that final stint. You'll make up so many places. Final lap then for Fernando Alonso. It's going to be 4 wins in a row, Fernando. And then his lead will grow by another 10 points in the World Championship. So it'll take it up to, I can't remember how much it was coming into the race, but it's, in fact, you can see it. Where is it? Standings. Drivers. There you go. This is what it's going to be. Hamilton will have the fastest lap point, so the lead will be 24 points. It's just under a victory, and that is assuming Alonso doesn't finish, but he's won today.
It is amazing.
It is amazing. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. But Hamilton coming from basically last to finish third is still a very good effort from him. Ocon, disappointing because we basically had it in the lead. The red flag didn't help him. The red flag didn't help him. Put him the others on a two-stop when he was already on the two-stop.
Nice weekend.
Otherwise, he would have been in a much stronger position. Fernando Alonso getting out of the Ferrari. A winner again. That's 8 wins we've got him this season. So he's now well into the 40s. That's 41 race wins in Formula One for him. Constructors' Championship, we grow our lead by 3 points. So Hamilton up 17 places. Tsunoda down 3, but still a P5 is a good result for him. Logan Sargent gets points. Nice. Lando Norris gets a point as well for AlphaTauri. Or should we call them Visa Cash App RB by now? Who knows or cares? Championship-wise, Ocon is within reach, I suppose, of Leclerc. If he can get his act together and win a couple of races, he'll have a chance. He will have a chance. DHL fastest pit stop. We are only 6th in that championship, but I literally don't care. I would rather have slower stops, just without the mistakes, because the mistakes cost you so much time. Okay, inspection failed on the cars. I forgot to mention beforehand we put a new underfloor on the car, and we are now very fast at everything, I think. Yeah, we are basically the best car on the grid, so it's not a surprise that we won that race. We needed to change the suspension, install a replacement, please and thank you. And we are now, basically all of our technical staff are out of contract, but it doesn't matter because we're not doing a season 2, at least at the moment. Regulation votes. So what was the majority voted against? Okay, good. Not that it matters, because we're not doing a second season. Pit crew are exhausted. That would explain why the pit stops were terrible. New side pods. Do we need... Oh, we've got extra side pods to put on the car. I did not realise. Let's make sure this car is updated to the nth degree. Yeah, we've got everything that's the most recently developed part on the car, which is lovely, lovely, lovely. Now, I did mention at the start we were going to discuss the Madrid Grand Prix being added to the calendar for 2026. There's going to be 9 street circuits. I mean, it's just like, why? Why go to proper race venues? Literally, the whole point of Formula E was to go to street circuits and race around the cities. But they're kind of moving away from that now. And Formula One are like, oh yeah, let's have half the calendar be a street circuit. And while they're at it, have cars that are just so wide you can't overtake. Oh, it beggars belief, but what can you do? I mean, the circuit looks kind of okay in terms of layout. I haven't really looked at it particularly because I just don't think it's that interesting, to be honest. And Barcelona is a proper circuit. The only problem with Barcelona, well, there was 2 problems. One was the chicane at the end of the final sector, which was just, everyone hated it. Everybody hated it. The only good thing it did was show you who was likely to be fast around Monaco. So it had that going for it, but in terms of actually generating racing, it was terrible. Absolutely god-awful. So last year they reverted to the traditional double right-hander final sector, which was absolutely rapid. We're going to put Oliver Behrman in the car for practice 1. So yeah, the final 2 corners was fantastic. And now it looks like that circuit's going to be off the calendar, although they say it might not be. But let's be honest, where are they going to fit 2 races in Spain in the same season? Literally, like, how? You're literally going to have a 35 race calendar. It's just, like, I love F1. But there's only so much F1 you can watch. There's only so much Crofty I can bear. And at the moment, I'm already beyond the amount of Crofty I can bear. So, adding more circuits, and they're going to have to go to a 20 race calendar and alternate the circuits year in, year out. It's literally the only solution. Street circuits most of the time produce boring races. They do indeed. I mean, Baku brings us the odd banger because someone crashes at a convenient time and it means there's a red flag or a safety car that jumbles the order and the strategies. But like last year, Baku was dreadful, arguably the worst race of the year. That said, for street races, Vegas was pretty good, all things considered, because it's got a massive, massive straight. That does help. Obviously, Baku, long straights, but it still didn't really work. I suppose you could just make the DRS zone bigger. That's the solution. Ocon's back in the car. Let's simulate qualifying. It just, I'd seen the rumours on social media and I was thinking, please don't let this be true, because what has happened to Fernando Alonso here? Did they drive the right cars? Ocon starts on the front. Logan Sargent's third. Hold the phone. Logie Bear. It doesn't show the picture. Logan Sargent has just qualified third in Japan, a proper circuit. He's out-qualified Charles Leclerc, his teammate Yuki Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso, Bottas, who's won around Suzuka, Gasly, who is a race winner, Verstappen, and Perez. That is incredible from Logan Sargent. Maybe it rained. Maybe there was rain. But we'll never know. We will never know. We'll do a soft, medium, soft, because I just like a two-stop. I like being on tyres that are faster than everybody else towards the end of the race. Just makes it more exciting. Two-stop is also the best way around the Japanese Grand Prix. Right, let's Japanese Grand Prix, chaps and chapettes, if you ladies in the chat. Lewis Hamilton on pole position. Here we go then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Red lights, and the lights are out. The race is on. Let's jump on board with Esteban Ocon. Are we going to take the lead? We are not. Logan Sargent is going into second place. Ocon has put a very quick stop to that though. Alonso is going around Leclerc, who's on mediums. That'll do us. And we'll have to spoil Sargent's party. I mean, wouldn't it be so cool if we could just sit behind Sargent the entire race, back everybody up, so the kid gets a podium? That would be pretty mad if you could do that. I mean, obviously in the F1 23 you probably could do it, but on here it's not really possible. So charge towards Spoon Corner. Ocon needs to make sure he stays with Hamilton, because otherwise he's just going to disappear, I think. Alonso, we're going to get you driving in clean air, because we need you to go past people basically immediately. We won't go yet, but when DRS is active, we will. And Sargent is already a second behind Ocon, who's actually doing well to keep pace with Hamilton. So we'll get the DRS next time around. Let's go and deploy with Alonso. Can we? He's actually dropped back from Sargent a bit, and under pressure from Leclerc. DRS now enabled. And the Red Bull is giving us problems. Ocon just outside that 1 second because the tyres got too hot. Hamilton's using his tyres. Sargent is too. But then if we look after our tyres, we can have that offset, especially towards the end of the race. And it comes in handy. Ocon has got himself into DRS range, as has Alonso. And Alonso is just going to ruin Logan Sargent's day and take P3. Ocon very much in play here with Lewis Hamilton, so that is very, very good. If he can get ahead of the Red Bull, that would be lovely. But at the moment I think it's just about shadowing him. Alonso will hopefully start to close the gap. And it's slightly closing, so that's good. Gasly's got himself up to P4. Ocon has just taken the lead. There we go. DRS down the outside. Hamilton probably didn't need to defend really, although we were coming past at a rate of knots. And clear into turn 1. So Ocon doing the business here for his teammate. I mean, who'd have thought that Ocon and Alonso could work so well together? Not me. Not me. Alonso now 1.5 seconds behind Hamilton. So these two will just slow each other down, I think, from here. And even if Alonso doesn't get past, as long as Ocon wins, it's just Hamilton not getting as many points. Are we driving in clean air? No, we're not. He's just defending. Alonso is driving in clean air, so we'll get him driving in normal air. Hamilton is killing his tyres. AI just doesn't know. Well, it does look after them. It goes hard on them early, then looks after them, I think. But if you just keep a steady pace, you do quite alright. Now Alonso is within a second of Hamilton. Gasly 5 seconds back. Leclerc has just tumbled down the order a little bit. Well, not tumbled, but Gasly has forced his way through. Leclerc, the lead driver on mediums. And once again, it's Ferrari, Red Bull, Ferrari at the front of the race. So, guys in the chat, tell me what you think of the Madrid Grand Prix. Will it be a good addition to the calendar? I mean, I've not been to Madrid, but it's a fantastic city from what I've heard. Lots of history. Obviously a very famous football club. Carlos Sainz will like going there as Hamilton takes the lead. What I might do while we're just sitting behind, oh, we've got a yellow flag pop up there. Might just look after the tyres a bit. Tsunoda running wide. Because we're keeping check with Hamilton. And then we'll just eke out our first stint a little bit more. They'll get an undercut, but we'll be in a better position towards the end of the race. And that's where we'll do the damage. Logan Sargent, the first man into the pit lane. What's he doing in terms of strategy? He's gone to a set of mediums and he pops out 17th. Alonso and Ocon are essentially on exactly the same strategy and are due in at the same time, I would think. So, well, we're still a few laps out. I mean, it's what, lap 18? I think we're pitting there. So we'll just keep looking after things. We'll bring in Ocon first because he's ahead. He qualified ahead, so we'll give him that priority. Although Alonso will hate it. He'll be like, give me the priority because I'm championship leader. Like the shape of the track. It's a good addition, but you don't want Barcelona to leave. I mean, I kind of agree with you there. I think the layout of the circuit was okay, but it's going to be a street circuit. There's going to be some 90-degree corners in there somewhere, and they're not good for racing, really, are they? But what can we do? What can we do? I don't think Barcelona deserves to go. I mean, they've changed the circuit, and a year later, it looks like they're being replaced, which is a bit silly, really, all things considered. Right. Esteban, we are going to call you in on the next lap for set mediums. He's now 1.5 seconds behind Hamilton, who's really put the hammer down here. So Alonso will bring you in next lap. He's actually got 2 sets of mediums, so we could do a soft medium towards the end. Let's attack with Ocon and deploy the battery because we are quickly falling behind Hamilton, even though he's got absolutely dead tyres. We are closing the gap right back up now. Leclerc's just had a pit stop issue. He was on the mediums and boxed at the same time as us. That's what are Red Bull doing? The AI strategy, man. Just bizarre. And Ocon right back up to the gearbox of Lewis Hamilton. And even looking for a way past into 130R. But we're going to be going into the pit lane. I wouldn't be surprised if we follow him in. There we go. That will do. Alonso will go one
can
more
push.
lap.
Okay.
Pit stop is all right. Oh, we have jumped Hamilton.
Oh, the
He's had a
white
pit stop issue. Major malfunction at the junction for Red Bull. Was it that weird one where they just don't let go of the car? Yeah. I mean, he's revving that engine like his life depends on it.
Push. Perfect.
They just didn't want to let him go.
Oh, the white line.
Watch the white line, yeah, watch the white line. Good stuff. And Ocon out into the lead of the the effective lead of the race on a set of mediums. Hamilton, I think, is on a set of mediums too. So we're just mirroring strategy here. And Alonso is heading for the pit lane right now. Is it a good stop for him? It is actually 2.8 seconds. This is going to be quite close. Where's Ocon? Oh, this is going to be mighty close. Has Alonso done enough? No. But he will come out in P2. He will come out in P2. So for
Careful with
now,
the tires.
hold
Okay,
position. Just get him to hold position. If we need to do it at the end to swap them around, we will. But Ocon's got himself into a position where he leads the race. And he's done it on merit. So I'm very happy to keep them where they are. Alonso does a purple middle sector out of the pit lane. Hamilton just 2.5 seconds back. He's probably looking after his tyres a little bit more. Alonso very close to taking the lead, but he's been told to hold position, so he will do as he's told or he will be fired. Not sure why I did it like Vince McMahon, but it just seemed to come out. Let's have a look through the rest of the grid then. Who's having a standout race? Look at Lando Norris doing bits once again in the AlphaTauri. Has he stopped? No. That would explain why he's so hard the order. And Verstappen as well, who had a grid penalty. Russell has just stopped. That would explain why he's towards the back. Norris losing 1 and probably 2 positions here. There goes Sainz past his old McLaren teammate. Everyone's kind of where they should be, I would say, in terms of their car performance. So no one really outperforming machinery. R2 drivers are still scrapping away at the front. What I'm going to do is deploy and push with Ocon. And also with Alonso, because I kind of want to get away from Hamilton. He's closing in a bit. We need to up our pace. And we're either now just sort of holding station or we're slightly pulling away, What was the lap time last time around? Well, he did a 31.1 as well, so we're just holding position right now because Hamilton is going hammer time. We just want to keep our track position secure. Yellow flag. Who was that? Zhou with the lockup. Hamilton's caught us back up though. There he is in the background, like a shark hunting its prey. But he is 1 versus 2. And this is the position that Mercedes found themselves in so often against a Ferrari or a Red Bull. is it was 2v1. It was kind of the job that Bottas did, was make sure he was there most of the time. Not so much in 2021 when they really needed him. But yeah, he would be there just making life difficult for a team that was challenging. Alonso is a couple of tenths behind Ocon, but he will still hold position because of that. Hamilton now does have DRS, but I'm not really concerned because we're okay. He's not really caught us massively quickly, and he'll just sit in the DRS train. Well, at least I hope. Alonso actually took the lead for a second there, and now we're all very, very close together. But looking a bit dark there for a second. I was wondering if it was going to rain, but it's not. Alonso moving out to block Hamilton. Now it's his turn to defend like a lion. It's going to speed things up because not really that much happening. Hamilton's not able to get close enough, although there might be a bit of a problem here with Piastri. Are we going to navigate this traffic effectively? Yeah, Piastri does a... Oh, almost got right in the way of Hamilton. I think he did. Hamilton has lost almost a second, it may be even more than that, through trying to pass Oscar Piastri. We're still several laps away from our pit stop window. What is Hamilton having to do to his tyres to keep up with us? Well, he's 5%, 6% now worse off than Alonso. He's 1% worse off than Ocon, who's in clear air, able to just babysit his tyres. Zhou Guanyu will hop out of the way pretty quickly as well, I think. Did we get DRS with Ocon? We did not. Hamilton not compromised by the back marker this time, but it's just a little crocodile of cars running nose to tail here. Verstappen finally pits off of his hard tyres, and it's a slow stop for Mercedes. It's memories of Bottas at Monaco as Mercedes struggled to get the front right off. Alright chat, tell me, what do we do with Ocon and Alonso? Do we team orders Alonso through? Do we let Ocon win it? Do we tell him no, we need to give Alonso the position because of the championship and the fact that Ocon has blown 2 wins from winning positions fairly recently? What do you think? We've still got 28 laps to do. No, 18 laps to do before we need to make a final decision. But also we can't really risk the 1-2 because if we do team orders, Hamilton will be through quicker than a quick thing. And well, that might be useful. Oh, Hamilton's into the pit lane. What's he going on to? Another set of softs. That's quite early. Well, I say early. It is compared to us. He's gone for the undercut, so Hamilton could be a threat here. This race just took a bit of a turn. I have to sit up and take a bit of notice now. I'll be honest, I was finding it not a particularly interesting race because I didn't have to do very much. It was just, they were there, they were stuck in a DRS train. We weren't allowing our 2 drivers to fight, and Hamilton wasn't really making that much of a fist of it. We're not going to respond until now. So I have 2 extra laps on Hamilton. Alonso will come in the lap after. Where is Hamilton? He is 21.5 seconds behind. We need 23 seconds. So we're going to lose the lead to Hamilton. But that's fine because we're going to have the tyre offset. I mean, we probably could have pushed a bit harder. We'll attack with Alonso on his lap. Let's see, what's the stop like? It's a good stop, 2.7 seconds. Where is Lewis Hamilton? Here he comes. He'll be ahead of Ocon. And there he goes. It's not particularly close either. So we've got a couple of seconds at least to make up. Let's get these tyres up to temperature. Push and deploy the battery, please. Esteban. Alonso on the way to the pit lane. Let's see what the gap on track is like for Ocon. It's 2.5 seconds. So we can certainly catch Hamilton from here, but it is difficult. On similar life tyres around Suzuka, it's not easy to get the overtake done. Hamilton with a fastest lap as well there, for good measure. Alonso comes out in P3. So in this situation we would need Ocon to drop back, but we're going to go for the win with Esteban. As long as you keep pulling away from Hamilton, a double podium could be possible. Well, now we've got to catch him. But catch him we are. Look at the gap that Ocon is reeling him in by. This is going to be a fastest lap from Ocon, I think. There you go, purple middle sector from the Frenchman. And he's going to be setting the timing screen alight with a 28.4. We are very, very close. And Alonso is in hot pursuit as well. I think we're even going to be in DRS range. Yeah, Hamilton is getting a bit of traffic from Russell, who does get out of the way and stays out of the way. Did he get out of the way of Alonso? He did. That's good. Hello to Bo Zulu 1765 in the chat as well, by the way, whose comment I did just read out. Thanks for joining the stream. Hope you're having a good week. Yours is a name that I've not seen before on the other screen in the chat. So tell me who your favourite F1 driver is, who your favourite team is. Alonso has now rocketed up to the back of Ocon, who's kind of had his progress stunted. Let's just standardise the tyres there for Alonso, keep them cool. So we do need Ocon to get some DRS. We're going to deploy with him here. Make sure we get nice and close to Hamilton. Ocon is flying, he really is. Let Ocon win because he qualified. Yeah, absolutely fair point. He outqualified his teammate. He hasn't made a mistake yet. Touch wood. So hopefully we can get the job done with Esteban. He's got 2 wins this season. Fernando is faster than Esteban. I mean, it's a message that's not been said before, is it? That Fernando is faster than somebody else. Let's get Esteban Ocon driving in clean air and going for this win. The tyre situation for Hamilton is getting a bit dire by comparison. But we also need to look after our fuel. Here goes Esteban Ocon. Oh, Hamilton moving very aggressively to defend. Wow! That was ultra aggressive. That could have been a car. Well, I said a car crash. They're literally driving cars. It could have been an aeroplane crash. Wow, I mean,
And we need to increase
that was aggressive from the 7-time world champion. We'll give it another go though. Let's get it round to the pitch straight again, and we'll go and deploy, and we'll go aggressive on the tyres. I think we're close enough. Hamilton moves to the inside to defend, and it just allows us a clear path. So having defended with ultra aggression the lap before, Hamilton basically
Awesome.
lies down and goes, yes, through you go. Yeah, Alonso's had that pace. I mean, he's been sitting behind Ocon. He is the faster driver, but I didn't want them fighting earlier on. And now Ocon has got himself into that winning position I spoke about on pure merit. This is the situation that we wanted. Now we can get Alonso through as well. Hamilton has dropped right off. His pace has evaporated by comparison. Alonso, let's get you aggressive and deploying. He's driving in clean air, so we're looking at a Ferrari 1-2 here. Here we go then, Fernando Alonso. And it's an easy overtake with the DRS. And there you go, Ferrari first, Ferrari second. Tyres, ooh, with Ocon, we probably need to look after those a bit. Otherwise they won't be making it to the end. Just be sensible, please, Ocon. I mean, he was just stroking it home in Monza, and yet he managed to blow it at Ascari. I still don't understand how he did it. Yes, Alonso was right behind him, but Alonso had been told to hold position. This is the exact situation we were in before. I mean, earlier in the season we did turn them both up to high overtake aggression when they were next to each other on track, but when you're first and second, it's probably not the smartest thing to do. It did cause a red flag, but they did still stay in the race, which was fortunate. We have got 6 laps to go. We just need to make sure the tyres get to the end. Hamilton has dropped off by like 2 seconds now. His tyres are pretty second-hand. Leclerc has got himself to 4th, and we're basically 2 by 2 in the top 6. Sainz is the anomaly, and so is Lando Norris. I suppose that speaks to how good they are. Magnussen 11th, George Russell 18th. Norris really showing him up. We're going through some traffic here, and we've negotiated it just fine, so that's good. Only time Ferrari cannot mess up the race and the strategy. Yeah. Maybe they should just hire me as their strategist at Ferrari. I mean, I'll have to work from home because I can't possibly fly over there. Not because I don't like Italy, but because I don't like flying. I can do it remotely. It's very easy. You just put your tyres on and you do the job. It's really not that difficult, lads, is it? Obviously, I'm being facetious. It is much more complex than that. We are closing in on Daniel Ricciardo to lap him. Alonso now just over a second behind his teammate. Ocon still needs to conserve some fuel here. We need to do that. We'll do that with Alonso as well and slow them down. Maybe. Alonso's now going to have DRS, but of course he has got the don't fight teammate on, so he's not going to go past anyway. Hamilton over 4 seconds back. So let's just make sure Esteban Ocon wins this race, because he's had some good races this year, but he's also made some terrible errors, not least the one in Monza, which cost him a famous home win, becoming one of those drivers that gloried in front of the Tifosi. I can't remember if he won Imola or not. It doesn't matter because he's on the last lap. Esteban Ocon has his teammate Fernando Alonso less than half a second behind him. We're going to turn all that down.
And keep it tidy.
Copy.
Keep it tidy. I will conserve the tyres. We're just going to back Alonso off.
And we need to look after these tires.
Okay, copy.
So that Ocon is basically under no pressure. We're going to take that threat away. And hopefully he won't throw it off the road this time. I'm just kind of fearful that he will. Just keep an eye on things, everybody. He's still on the road. He's only got 4 corners to go, but we had that last time. Well, that's 3, 2, and 1 corner to go. Well, he's survived the final lap this time. Esteban Ocon beautifully wins the Japanese Grand Prix, ending Alonso's winning run. But Ferrari win again.
Good job.
This whole winning with Ferrari isn't as hard as people make it out to be, is it?
And
Esteban
second
Ocon leads home a Ferrari 1-2.
Good job.
Hamilton
P2.
in P3.
Yeah, I could do
Ferrari would
more
probably
laps.
say box for hard.
No,
Yes, they
so
probably would.
thank you.
They probably
Thank
would.
you very much.
Here's Charles Leclerc,
Done a good
who,
job.
no matter where he goes, just seems to be given terrible strategies. Started on the mediums and pitted before the people starting on softs. Make it make sense. But that's another win for Ferrari. Logan Sargent gets more points. So I think that takes him into the 30s now for points. There's Ocon in the Ferrari with his Alpine branded helmet. There you go, you can see. So basically we moved them with the editor and it didn't change their helmets like it does normally. So you've got Max Verstappen in a Mercedes with a Red Bull branded helmet. I mean, it's nuts. Absolutely nuts. But yeah, good performance from Ferrari. Hamilton loses further ground to Alonso in the World Championship. It's now 40. Is it 40? It's 40 points. The deficit. So it's not good news for Lewis Hamilton's championship hopes. In the constructors, we are edging further away from Red Bull. What's Logan Sargent on to now? 32 points for the American driver, which I mean, I suppose that's not a bad return. How many did Stroll get last season? Let's have a look. Just opening the app, which hopefully will still have the standings. No, it doesn't. It's cleared them. Great. I don't know how many points Lance Stroll got. Anyway, we'll move on. We'll move on. Ollie Behrman went in for practice 1, so he'll have got a bit of a boost. So, a successful stream, I would say. 2 victories. We've got how many rounds left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 races left to go. And we are in a wonderful position to win both World Championships. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for joining me this evening. Of course, if you're watching after the fact, thank you for tuning in as well. That is the end of the stream. As I said, a successful stream. 2 victories, 1 for Fernando, 1 for Esteban. And, of course, there's no stream next Saturday, but we might do this again next weekend. Make sure you... Next Wednesday, sorry, next weekend. No stream on Saturday, maybe a stream next Wednesday. But make sure you go into the community page and tell me what series you'd like to see streamed next, and also whether you'd like to see more live content, so we could do a midweek stream and a weekend stream. We can sort of play around with things, so it's not a hard and fast schedule. As long as there's something Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm happy with that. So yeah, give me your thoughts, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, like the stream as well, so it gets sent out to other people, so they get to see it too and come and join the fun. Good night to CC Andreas, thank you for joining me, and good night to everybody else. I'll see you next time. You're the best fans. It's bye for now.